There are good training treats and there are bad training treats. A treat is not necessarily a training treat. Well, what makes a good training treat? Well, there are a few aspects to consider: palatability, firmness, size, color, and density. The most important aspect of a training treat is that it be palatable to the dog. Some dogs will work for anything that falls under the category of food, including their own kibble. Some dogs have the most finicky palates that will have you rifling through every treat sample at the most boutique of boutique pet supply stores. We cannot win this battle. Find something your dog will work for so that training can commence. Next on our list is firmness, or more accurately explained, crunchiness versus softness. Softness is valued over crunchiness for training treats if using a treat instead of kibble. If you're using kibble, it's going to be crunchy, obviously. But if you're shopping for training treats, opt for softness. A soft treat is easily ingested, leaving no crumbs, wasting no time, and timing is important when training. You don't want to wait several seconds for the dog to clean all the crumbs before moving on to the next repetition, or worse, being distracted by the crumbs or the potential of crumb existence when you're trying to get the dog to perform the next rep. There could be no crumbs, but if there have been crumbs in the past, the dog may continue to search for crumbs. Lastly, soft treats can be separated to create the size of treat you want to use. Hard treats can be too hard to break sometimes, and if you can break them, you will be swimming in crumbs. You want a small treat. Small is subjective, right? A piece of gravel is a good size comparison. A little bigger for larger dogs, perhaps a little smaller for small dogs. Large dogs can choke on it if it's too small because they inhale it instead of chewing it. Little dogs can get full too quickly, cutting your training session shorter than desired if the treat is too big. Believe it or not, color is an important factor. I work with treats on the floor and in crates, and I need them to be seen. If I've got a dark floor or a black crate pan, I want a light colored treat. If I'm working with a light floor or light colored crate, I want a dark treat. Only if I'm trying on purpose to make things difficult for the dog might I want the treat to match the color of the environment. Lastly, density. There are times when I need the treat to be heavy enough to make a sound when thrown. When training a dog to go in its crate, I need the dog to hear the treat hit the floor of the crate as an affirmation that there is indeed a treat in there. If you'll take these variables into consideration when choosing a training treat, your sessions will go a lot smoother than if you just bust out the milk bones. Now let's talk about how my examples do or don't meet criteria and how I might redeem them for use. Milk bones give me nostalgic vibes. I keep a jar full of them in the kitchen. When the dog just looks cute or whatever I'm preparing for myself to eat is not appropriate for him to sample, he can have a milk bone. My dog walker and groomer likes them to be there so they can hand them out at will as well. So while not appropriate for sit down, stay, come, heel training, they still have their place. Same for these fancy boutique treats. I keep them in cargo next to a crate for extra incentive to load up. Cheerios are a wonderful cost-effective training treat, particularly when you're doing a lot of reward-based training at the front. Puppies can train and train and train with Cheerios in use. They are crunchy, but they're not dense, making them very easy for the dog to ingest. Not the highest on the palatability scale, but oddly, more dogs like these than I would think would like them. Pet Botanics give you a dark treat alternative to use with light floors. They are soft and generally well-liked. One drawback is they make your hands a little gross and smelly, but for a decent price and high palatability, I can overlook it. Finally, here's an example of a raw freeze-dried food that I like very much for its size and softness. It's by far the costliest of the three, but it's healthy and the dogs will almost always work for them.